Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. Hiya, I'm Hana Q, your local digital artist. Every month, I love to take the time to give back to y'all by drawing more of your characters in my style. It's a fun little way to collaborate with y'all by combining your unique and fun characters into my style, adding my own touches here and there. I also like to give a few drawing tips as I'm drawing, so if you're feeling up to a nice comfy time with gorgeous OCs, I'm happy to be here for ya. Now the first thing to do is to head over to Instagram and check out all of the gorgeous OC submissions for today's video. And I may indulge in the occasional gushing over your OCs while I'm at it. Hello and welcome to Hana Doodle My OC 9. I'm very excited, so let's get started. Oh my goodness! Eyelashes! Ah, so cute! Ooh, I love the little witch hat with the studs. I mean, we could talk about those sunglasses for days, but just her outfit just screams imperial, like I'm better than you, and she is. Oh my goodness. Okay, rainbow hair. I don't know why I'm always so attracted to rainbow hair, even though clearly this would be quite a project to color, but I just can't help it. And I love her little expression, just like, you don't know what she's up to. I love this. I love the little curls that you've done in the hair. They look very nice. This is so adorable. I really like her expression. She kind of doesn't want to be here, but like in a cute way. I really love it. Oh my gosh. Look at this character. The makeup, the eyes, the lips. And she's a cat girl too, like Perf. Boy, oh boy, do I get a rush of joy when I look at your OCs. They're just so cute, cool, and stylish. And I am always thankful for the opportunity to draw your characters. I'm only able to draw a few each time, so this time I chose 2 characters that I think you guys are really going to enjoy in my style. First off is this character named Mari by @aoxy. According to her description, she works as a live streamer and blogger and has a bubbly and fun personality. I really loved her rainbow hair and cheeky expression, and I felt like her fun personality really shined through in this design. In fact, this character reminded me of another character I love, which is Rainbow Dash from My Little Pony.
Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh!
So I took inspiration from Rainbow Dash's personality and charm for this drawing. I began sketching and wanted to have a pose that captured a cheeky expression and smile. Afterwards, I began lining. At first, I struggled a bit with the angle of the hoodie, but eventually got it right. I loved drawing the hair because it was so stylish. From the top pigtails to the jellyfish hairstyles, sporting the short hair with long strands in the back, it was so incredibly unique and fun. Of course, I had to incorporate my signature wild Hana Q hair to this just to add that extra spice. And with the line art done, it was time to add base colors. Since Mari has rainbow gradients in her hair, I used an airbrush to incorporate the gradients. I separate the hair into 3 parts: the red-orange bangs, the yellow-green short hair, and the blue-purple long strands and pigtails. And now, while I get the piece ready for shading, it's time for a short break to introduce to you the sponsor of today's video, Squarespace. You probably already know by now that Squarespace is an all-in-one website platform where you can build your own website, create an online store, blog, and customize each and every part to your own needs. I mean, it's very convenient. I simply drag and drop things into place, and bam! A working website and portfolio for all my artist needs. Member areas. You can create members-only pages on your site with a member area subscription. With these areas, you can monetize your content, enhance your brand, and grow your audience. Discounts. Create automatic discounts that can apply to entire orders or specific products. You can even limit the amount of uses per customer or in total. Digital gift cards. Give your customers the ability to share your product by adding digital gift cards that they can redeem online. Head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/HanaQ to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. And now, back to the video. When it's time to shade, I always like to start with the skin because it helps me see the life in the drawing. I start by airbrushing in a warm blush tone in places that would have natural redness like the cheeks, lips, eyes, and more. Now I create a new layer, clip to the folder holding the color, and set it to multiply to add the shadow. Once I've got a general idea of where I want the shadow, I select the area not in shadow and create a new layer on overlay to create the lighting. To tie this all in, I like to use a red color on the edge where the light and shadow meet to create subsurface light scattering. Subsurface scattering is the appearance of light penetrating translucent surfaces, scattering to create what appears to be a band of glow. Now I just repeat this process for everything else, including the hair, clothing, and accessories. For the hair, I like to add an additional coloring technique called atmospheric perspective. This is the process of making objects further in the background recede into the background color more. Since my background is white, I like to use pale colors like light blue, yellow, or purple gray to give it that look of fading into the background. I usually use overlay mode for this, but recently found out that screen really works a lot better with this if you mess around with the opacity settings. While coloring the hair, I underestimated the difficulty of coloring rainbow hair again. Like last time, I struggled with the muddying of colors because I used one multiply shade for the whole rainbow spectrum. I really wanted to capture the vibrancy of the hair, so to combat the muddiness, I sucked it up and added separate colors of shading for each color. In the end, I think I managed to figure it out, and I'm pretty proud of the end result. Once all the lighting and shading has been established on respective overlay and multiply layers, I like to return to the base colors to add detail shading. For here, I like to focus on ambient occlusion and textured shading. Textured shading is exactly as it sounds. I will shade trying to capture the texture or form of an object. For ambient occlusion, it is a type of shading that helps create a 3D look by shading in areas that would naturally incur shadow or where light would have a hard time hitting. These are places like edges where two different objects meet, for example, the hair and skin, or skin and clothes. There are also natural places on the body like under the chin or behind the ears that would have a hard time capturing light. So in using these processes defined earlier, I'll finish off the shading, coloring the eyes, and adding finishing touches, and we're just about done. I'll be saving the final reveal until the end, so make sure to keep watching until then. Let's head over to drawing the next character now. For our second character, I'm drawing Mio by @_Sue_Miu_. Mio appears to be a cute girl with a quieter personality than our rainbow sunshine from earlier. It matches with her cloud motifs, giving me the appearance of a slightly gloomier character. I really enjoyed her short black hair, and coincidentally, she also has a hoodie like Mari. So somehow I've chosen two matching characters again. They also have opposite vibes, which makes the whole thing really cute. Because Mio has short hair, and y'all know I'm obsessed with drawing wild hair, I drew a ribbon around her instead to satisfy my urge of needing to wrap the character up in hair. Once I'm finished with the sketch, it's time for line art. I focused on giving her downturned eyes. I wanted to keep the wild Hanekyu hair touch, but I also experimented with different hair edges to try and indicate straight hair. I topped it all off with a ribbon in the end. Now it's time to add the base colors. I decided to make the ribbon red for a pop of colors since Mio's colors are mostly monochrome. I also added her purple hair strand. I feel like if our last character Mari is Rainbow Dash, then Mio is like a mix of Twilight Sparkle's colors and Fluttershy's personality.
I'm Fluttershy. Sorry, what was that? It's Fluttershy.
I'm getting so giddy at the idea of subtly themed characters. I color the same way as before, first starting with adding life and blush to the skin. Then we'll add that new layer on multiply mode to create the shadow. Next, select the opposite area not in shade and fill in the lighting with an overlay mode. We're going for an extremely lit light area. Now I'll add that subsurface light scattering red band between where the light and shadow hit. I'll now do the same with the hair, but I'll leave some areas of the hair out to leave room to create atmospheric perspective. I like to do this so that the hair closer to the camera retains the most vibrancy and contrast. Now we'll do the same with the clothes and accessories. While messing around with more layer modes, I mentioned that I learned the screen mode is really good for atmospheric perspective. This is because it takes a stronger effect in lightening the area without the saturating part of overlay. I like both, but each can apply differently. It just so happens that it works well here, so make sure to try both. But I also learned that add is a good blend mode to use to highlight particularly tricky colors like red. I'm going to look more into this later, but based on my findings, red doesn't react that well to overlay or even multiply modes. The colors don't stick that well, but with add, it allows you to take control over how you want the lighting to look. It's so interesting to me how every color reacts differently not only to layer modes, but in general. It makes me feel like every color has its own unique personality that we all have to get to know. With all the lighting and shading established, I return back to the base layers to add detail shading. I focus on ambient occlusion, or adding shadow to the places where it would naturally occur, then shading to indicate texture. For clothes, I use shading to enhance volume, form, and folds. Next, I do detail shading to the hair. Black is a hair color that reflects lots of colors, so I add lots of blues, pinks, and purples in both the shading and highlights. Overall, I'm quite happy with how the characters are turning out. They are very vibrant and bright in color. I always used to be a little bit insecure of how vibrant my colors were, since a lot of artists I admired used more muted colors, but despite it, I always found myself naturally drawn to bright things. However, lately, you guys have been complimenting me more and more on my colors, which has given me more confidence to lean into it more. So thank you guys for always encouraging my art growth. Now I'm going to finish off the eyes and add finishing details, but the piece is just about finished now. Make sure to watch until the end for details on how to enter your OC into the next Draw Your OC video. Now, without further ado, enjoy the final reveal of the drawings. hope you guys enjoyed seeing the characters in my style this time. These were really fun to draw, and it reminded me of so many things I loved when I was younger. I just love bright, fun things, and it's inspired me to draw more things that make me happy in the future. I may or may not be inspired to draw my own My Little Pony humans now. Who knows? Also, let's take the time to admire all the lovely fan art you guys have done for me here. I don't know how I get so lucky to be part of your talented artworks, but thank you. I appreciate you all very much. Now, here's how you enter your character into the next video. To participate in the next video of me drawing your OC in my style, all you need is an Instagram account and a picture of your OC. Upload it to Instagram and make sure to add the hashtag HanaDoodleMyOC10. Oh my goodness, are we already on number 10? Yes, we are. Again, that's hashtag HanaDoodleMyOC10. And if you want to give me some fun stuff, feel free to add a description of your OC like their name, personality, and backstory. I'm looking forward to seeing more of your OCs in the next video. Also, I just wanted to mention that I am looking into finding some alternate ways for you guys to enter your OCs, but I haven't established anything just yet, but soon. Until next time, I'm wishing you all the best on your journeys of achieving your goals and dreams. Bye!